Hi friends, my name is Mackenzie, also known as Emtothethird. I am a queer, fat knitter, maker, natural dyer, and this is my YouTube channel. This video is a knit and chat because there is something that I have been thinking about a lot and wanting to talk about with you. And to be honest, I recorded a few versions of this, like with a script, kind of like video essay style, and it just didn't feel like me. And so I had a little chat with my partner and with my friends, and I was like, I think I just need to be more conversational, like typical knit and chat kind of vibe, and still be able to get my point across, but for it to feel like a type of video that I would make. So that's what I'm here to do with you today. I've got my Isla shawl that I've been working on, and it's a very easy project to just kind of work on and chit chat. So that's what we're here to do today. So thank you for being here. And yeah, this is definitely like, I would love to hear your comments on it. So I've been seeing a lot of articles coming out recently talking about how fashion is really a mirror into what is going on politically within certain spaces. And in particular, people are pointing out different trends that are happening that sort of indicate a rise in conservatism. And the first time I heard this was in a TikTok that I saw like right after Trump was elected, and it really sort of like stopped me in my track. Really think about the trends that I have been seeing in the knitting world. So after I saw that first video, there have been a slew of other articles and videos about people pointing out that like trad wives are in and quiet luxury is in, and all of these kind of harken back to these really conservative times in specifically US history. I definitely sort of thought back to like what was trending in the 80s when Reagan was in office, and so I've been thinking about that a lot. And obviously, even though I'm not like really in a fashion space, like the content that I make is not, I mean, it like has overlaps with fashion, but largely I am a knitter. And in a lot of ways, I feel like knitting could kind of fall into like trad wife, like content, like DIY homemaking kind of stuff. But for me, the reason that I do a lot of homemaking stuff is through a lens of radical domesticity. And I feel like that is the people who follow me, the people who I'm inspired by. Like, we're definitely not in a conservative, like, community. Like, that is not the vibe. So it was just very interesting to me to sort of see people talking about these trends that are happening, and sort of like think about how I relate to it, and think about the content that I am making. But it also had me thinking about the trends that I have seen happening in the knitting community and how they sort of dovetail off of these like larger fashion trends. I have worked at yarn stores since 2013, so that's like 12 years. They've all been located in cities, but they've all been in very different cities. The first yarn store I worked at was in Oakland, California. The second one I worked at was in Boston, Massachusetts. And now I work at one in Portland, Oregon, as well as like now have my own business. And there are two things that I have seen happening that sort of like lend themselves to this kind of like trend towards conservatism, okay? Stick with me. The first sort of like general statement that I've heard multiple times is that it feels like there's like nothing trending right now, which I think is a really interesting observation. Like it just feels like in the past there's always been like one thing, for however fleeting it is, that people come in and they're like specifically shopping for, and we're like, oh yeah, like these are the yarns we recommend to everyone. Sometimes it's a pattern, sometimes it's a specific yarn, and like those things happen, right? But I feel like over the last few years I've heard over and over people with this sentiment, and as someone who's in the industry, it's a little like, I recognize that it's a little bit reductive, but I was thinking about like, what does that indicate about what actually is trending? When it feels like there's like nothing specific to kind of point to. And the second thing that I've noticed is trending is Scandinavian designers, like petite knit, like I actually am fairly certain that they're like Scandinavian, maybe like Danish or something, but like my favorite thing's knitwear. Those patterns are really presented as like timeless classics, and I think that part of the sentiment of feeling like nothing is trending is because these things that are trending, like Scandinavian design, that are being presented largely in neutral colors with neutral yarn, very plain stockinette kind of garments, and like, obviously, again, I'm kind of being reductive, but I'm trying to make a point. It makes it feel like there is nothing trending because it doesn't stand out in the same way that like knitting with a neon or knitting with hand-dyed clown barf yarn does it doesn't stick out as much. It's like part of what is trending is knitting something that people can't tell is hand knit. You might relate to this, you might not, but it's just something, again, that I feel like I have been seeing, like on a larger scale as someone who works at a store and like works in the industry. Yeah, as these articles have been coming out talking about this like trend of conservatism in fashion, I absolutely see parallels happening in the knitting world. But like at the same time, I'm reminding myself that in times of like really severe economic downturns, really intense conservatism in office and in policy, there always tends to be a pendulum swing where music, where fashion creates these subcultures, or I guess I should actually say counterculture movements, where fashion sort of, not just fashion, but creativity really blossoms and thrives. And so that's kind of been keeping me moored, and also keeping me really intentional about being out about the fact that I am queer, I am in a queer relationship, I am also Mexican American and Latina, and these policies, especially towards immigrant communities, feel very personal. And like, what can I do to make others feel like those experiences are valid, specifically within the small niche of a knitting community that I am part of? I don't pretend to like know the answer or like have the answer, but there are ways in which these policies are like very directly impacting me as the partner of someone who is trans. And, you know, I have a lot of family also that is Jewish, and I feel really grateful that a lot of that family is pro-Palestine and anti-Zionist. But that's like another piece of just like the larger context of what is happening in this world right now. And I think one of the things that I'm trying to hold on to and remember is that joy in these times, when we're being come at from all different angles, is really truly an act of resistance. And there are more intentional ways to resist, but like the economic element of this has been really hard on our little family. I don't know, it's just a really intense time. I don't have to tell you, I don't think. But I can make videos about the colorful things I'm making, about the interesting things I'm making. I can foster community with other queer people and other queer knitters. And those are all really important things right now. If you feel like you would like to share, I would love to hear the ways that you are resisting in this time, even if it's small, even if it's personal, especially if it's like on a larger community scale. I would literally love to hear it, because yeah, it's hard to maintain positivity and lightness right now, like seriously. Every time I post a video that's kind of like even mentioning my annoyance at like beige, grayish knitters, I do get a lot of responses that are, you know, similarly recognizing that those are like trending, and they're also frustration with it. You know, it's gotten to the point where like here on YouTube, some of the most popular knitting podcasters, it really feels like it's like a hop, step, and a jump away from like really intense like Christian ideology. And I don't say that lightly. There are definitely some creators who I've like seen kind of double down on, you know, maybe being Trump supporters, just like the like traditional Christian value, like that almost feels not innocuous, but it feels like it's maybe hiding something larger that it's like saying the quiet part out loud. You feel me? Like, it doesn't feel in America right now that identifying as Christian feels like a safe place for me. And I also acknowledge that that's like not fair to everyone who identifies as Christian, and everyone who votes for Trump. I know that that is controversial, but like I have family members who voted for Trump who do not believe the sort of like larger discriminatory rhetoric that he is spewing. And at the same time, when I hear someone voted for Trump, I obviously have reservations and fears about what else that could mean. So, you know, I'm not saying that it's safe for everyone to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I'm just saying that I don't necessarily, I in fact really intentionally try not to villainize people for those decisions if they come out, even though I do not agree with it, and I am valid in feeling resentment towards people who did that, because it's directly taking away some of the rights that me and my partner and my family like have. So in part, all of this is to say that I've been thinking about you know, a way that I can make a little bit of a difference. And I decided to put together a list of knitting podcasters that are queer, that are radical and BIPOC, and I'm really excited to share that with you. So yeah, that is a separate video that I'm publishing at the same time as this one, so that you can go to that one after hanging out with me for a minute and hearing about just things that I've been ruminating on. And again, I want this to feel more like a discussion, which is why I didn't love the video essay like part of it all. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on the matter. Love to sort of be a sounding board for maybe some of the frustration that you've been feeling, because I know I have been feeling it. And just like to thank you for being here on my little queer knitting channel. I hope that you are feeling some companionship and camaraderie in these frankly dark times. I appreciate you. I'm here for you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.